All right, welcome to our edition of Philocaly and Friends. Today we have one of our models with us, and she's been modeling for Philocaly for 3 years, 3 fashion shows, I should say. And she is just wonderful. So thanks for being here. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and then tell us about yourself.
So my name is Susanne, and I own a business, restaurants. I'm a restaurateur, I guess is what you can call it. It's an entrepreneur, whatever. I have a food truck. We're opening up a couple of restaurants here within the next year, so I'm very busy doing that. My husband is a chef, and we do that together. I also work full-time as an HR manager for a local warehousing company. So in the region, do a lot of travel with that. So very busy person.
Yes.
And also I'm a grandma. I have 4 kids.
I was gonna say, are you gonna talk about the kids, or are you just gonna talk about the grandbabies?
I have 4 kids. They're all grown, but I have one grandchild and 3 on the way, all due this fall.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting.
And tell me about your husband.
So my husband is Jesse, and he is, like I said, he's a chef. Culinary school. We met at work. He hired me when I was very young. I was 18. He's a little bit older, not much, but he robbed the cradle a little bit. But we've been married for 27 years. Been together for 28, and just really enjoying life right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now he works for you.
He does work for me. Yes.
So the tables have turned a little
bit. Just a little bit. Yeah. So technically, the business is my business, and he is on my payroll.
Awesome.
So yes, but he's full time in business, and then I also have to just run business.
Right. All the behind the scenes.
Yes.
Awesome. So the whole point of these videos is to get people a little insight into the show, because really what makes it special are the models and the people involved in it. And so I just wanted you to kind of tell us about why you initially chose to be a model. And I know that for the models, every year it's a different reason.
Yeah.
So maybe you can share with us a little bit of why you first decided to model, and then why you continue to model.
Sure. So I wasn't part of the show the first year, but I heard about it, and I actually heard about it, I think, after the show. I saw the pictures and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I knew of you at that time. I don't think at that point we had become friends, but we had kind of traveled in the same circles. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, this is a really cool concept. And I had, after looking through the pictures and kind of seeing the show and what it was, I really related to it just because of my own image of my own body at that time. And my weight has kind of gone up and down over the years, and I've gone through periods of time where I was really unhappy with myself, times where I was just like, okay, and accepting of it, but just never really came to a consensus of how I felt about my body. And so being able to see those models in lingerie and seeing bodies that looked similar to mine was pretty powerful. It was like, oh, wow, I think I could do that. I kind of want to try that, and then I'll see how I feel about it if I get picked, but it was just very empowering to see it and to be able to, I had the desire to have a better relationship with my body, and I felt like that would be kind of a catalyst to do that. So.
And why do you think it is so powerful? Because I've tried to articulate it as best I can, but you're the one that's out there on the runway. I mean, I have modeled on the runway, but it's different for me because I designed it. So what do you think it is that helps you break past that barrier?
Well, I think understanding how other people see you is powerful. And understanding and really just, I as you go through the process of modeling this show, you start to understand that people don't see you the same way you see yourself,
Right.
They look at you through their filter of their own bodies. And so as you kind of go through the process year after year, you start to understand that it doesn't have to be all about me. And it's not necessarily about me anymore and my relationship with my body. It is about somebody else being able to see me and say, oh, that could be me. I could do that, or I have the desire to look at myself the way I think that woman looks at herself.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that a lot of women look at the people that are modeling and they're like, oh, I could never do that. I hear that all the time. Like, I could never do that. That's really cool that they're doing it. And it is. And it's not for everybody. And I've always said that it's not for everybody, and that's okay. But there's a reason that the show sells out every year. And it's because exactly what you said. It's, oh, they're brave enough to do it. Maybe I can too. And there's something that happens when you're vulnerable like that. It allows other people to be vulnerable. So tell me, so that's why you initially started or applied to be a model. So what has kept you coming back? Has there been a different reason every year, or has it been the same and just, like you said, just changing your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the same reasons, right? It is because I do think, we do the show and I think all of the models, we feel very empowered. I think emotional and empowered after the show. We feel a change, right? And then as you go through your life, especially this last year with the craziness that we've had, you get kind of hung up in your patterns, and so while you're still reminded of all that, it's not top of mind a lot of times. So I think for me, doing the show every year, it just helps remind me of that feeling that I had right after every show, or actually leading up to, through, and right after, and that just reminding me that I have a body that is a human body that is great. It's just fine. It's not disgusting. It's not anything I need to hide. It's not, obviously it's not like I need to be walking around in my bra and panties, everywhere I go.
Yeah, we don't recommend that.
But I mean, even I was thinking about, as we were talking in that last little question segment about people that say, oh, I could never do. A lot of times, even myself, I wouldn't even have a mirror anywhere where I could look at myself in the mirror. So it's not even about doing that on the runway. It's about being able to appreciate yourself and be able to, even in your privacy, to look at yourself and be happy with that and accept it and know that the changes that we go through life, it's normal.
Yes.
Appreciate the beauty.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because every year, the models that have been modeling for several years, everybody's kind of grown together, and I just love that there's this little community. There's this little behind the scenes community of models, and I just love that. But just supporting each other and oh, you may have lost 20 pounds, you may have gained 20 pounds, you may have gone through, we've had women go through breast cancer and reconstruction and just all sorts of different things that everybody's gone through, divorces, marriages, babies, yeah, COVID. Yeah. So, I think that's a good reminder to continually be finding ways to appreciate your body and what it does for you.
And I think not just your body, but just your existence, I mean, and a lot of people know, because I post regularly about it on online, that my husband went through where COVID, he almost died. He was in the hospital for 2 months, and I didn't get to see him a lot of that time. He was on a respirator and in ICU, and it was very traumatic. But after, thank goodness he made it. He was one of the lucky ones. And after he came home, went through all the physical therapy, and it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work on my part, like in addition to having all of these other responsibilities, you know, taking care of him. And I think both of us, after that whole experience and everything that we went through, we are now to the point where we need to seize the day. And a lot of that is making better choices for our life. And that doesn't necessarily mean, for some people, that means, you know what, I'm not going to starve myself. I'm going to eat this I want. For some people, that means, you know what, I probably need to not eat as much sugar, or whatever the case. For us, it was like, hey, we got to look at our lifestyle and make some adjustments. But just, and also those adjustments, those mental adjustments are, you know, you got to prioritize things in life.
Mhm.
And, you know, after all this, you know, Jesse and I, we go on vacation a lot.
Yeah, 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 you do.
We go on vacation a lot. But that is really just prioritizing ourselves and saying, you know what, tomorrow you may die, that all of these things could happen. Is this the thing that we need to worry about right now?
Right.
You know, is me and my body and covering it all up? Is that the thing that's the top of my priority list every day when I get up and I'm thinking about? No. Is you know, oh, I can't afford that. We're gonna wait that. We're not gonna do that. Is that worth prioritizing? You know, we can't afford to just prioritize it.
Right.
And so, you know, seize the day, like live your life, be happy. And I think being part of the show is part of that. It really helps me to be able to appreciate the life I have, the body I have, the people that are in my life, the communities that, you know, that we have.
That's awesome. Wow, I feel like you're preaching right now.
A little bit.
So a lot of people don't know that the models actually go through quite a process to become a model. So I just want to give a little snapshot of what that looks like. So initially, when we have the model call, we get all these applications and we go through them, and we don't look at the pictures or the names. So we just look at the story. So we are picking people based on, you know, and sometimes it's usually a team of us that are looking at them. So it's how do we connect with the stories? Do we think, you know, other people are going to connect? Are they getting the vision for the show? That sort of thing. So, but then we go through and look at the names and the pictures, and but the models have already been chosen by that point. And it's just always worked out that we've had, because that was my goal when I first started the show. I wanted the models to be women that anyone that came to the show would see someone that they could relate to. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and people relate to people for different reasons. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that their body shape matches or anything like that. But that was my goal, is that everybody would have someone that they could relate to on the runway. And it's just always worked out. Like, we have such a vast variety of sizes and shapes and ages and colors and, you know, different hairstyles and, you know, just all that stuff. So I just love that. And then from then, you guys, we have you sign a contract and all that stuff. And then you guys do your model training. And I think that's where the community started to develop. Do you remember your first model training?
I do, yeah. I do. It was a little nerve-wracking because I think that year we did try-ons at the same time with lingerie. And so it was just like this weird, like, okay, I'm getting into this, and I'm walking out in front of people that I don't really know. So I do remember it. But you're right. That is where like all the connections started, and then especially on the day of, you know, when all kind of gone through this training together and you know, done the fittings and whatnot, and then it was like, okay, we're all in this together.
Yeah, exactly.
No way back.
Yeah. What do you think is your favorite thing about the show?
Oh gosh, my favorite thing. I really do like that as the models are coming out. Well, first of all, like, we don't get to pick our own outfits, you know, that's picked for us. But I do feel like they're very well chosen for the models. You know, they're wearing things that are very flattering and that really show their personalities. But I just love the fact that each model, as they kind of come out, you can see their personalities on the runway.
Totally.
You can totally see like, and I think that does help. It helps the audience connect, right? They're like, oh, you know, I connect. That person, I relate to that person. Just off of the way they walk, the way they look, their little motions. You know, I think that's pretty cool, and I really like that. And then just, you know, have our little Facebook group that, you know, people kind of post in there things that are inspirational. We're always building each other up, so I think that.
Yeah, the little Facebook the model community. We have a private Facebook for the models, and they all just kind of post in there and, you know, encourage each other, give each other tips, that sort of thing. So what did I ask you what you're most looking forward to? Oh, what are you most looking forward to for this show?
Well, first of all, I mean, after this year, I think just being able to let loose, you know, and be with a group of people.
Right. There's that.
You know, there's that. I don't know. I feel like this year, for me personally, I've kind of gone through I'm going to steal your word, a revolution. You know what I mean? I've made a transformation internally and externally, and I just really want to show that off.
Yeah.
You know, and be able to share that with the world. So
yeah. All right. We'll go global then.
Be world famous in one county.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I so appreciate you modeling year after year and just the support you offer and the community you foster just with the ladies around you. I appreciate you. And we're only 2 months away. Oh my gosh, it seems so fast. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you can get your tickets at philocalylingerie.com and come see Susanne strut her stuff on the runway. And we have some big surprises for the Revolution runway show this year. So make sure that you are a part of it. Awesome. Anything you want to say to someone that's contemplating coming to the show?
If you haven't bought your tickets, you need to buy them right now because they're going to sell out. I mean, but if you're hesitant, it's a great time. You need to come.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. We'll see you next time for Philocaly and Friends.